Can I name 3 questions about life, career, and studies that bothered you the most when you were in IITM? Okay, so questions about life. I think the question about life that bothered me the most is, I think it's an existential one. What is my purpose in life? Yeah, and as I got closer to that question, it became clearer to me that I want to do something that creates a larger impact in society for the social good. Having said that, it was still unclear to me, and still remains unclear, um, that what is the final outcome of the journey. And I've begun to read a couple of interesting books in philosophy from a couple of authors like Eknath Easwaran and people like that to further figure this out. That was one interesting question that has clinged along with me through IITM. About career, so I wanted to make sure that I'm not in a job where I'm going 9 to 5 to office and doing some routine work and which is task oriented. I always wanted to create change, and I always wanted to create impact. And I knew that impact only happens when you build things and you implement them, and they are consumed, and that consumption takes causes a change in the society. So one of the questions for me was, which career path can I choose during my academics that would lead me to that job? Maybe to begin with, that would be the best, that if I can just get into kind of an internship role, work there for a year and like scale up, or maybe a pathway that may go step by step leading towards my goal. Some of the options that I was considering, one option was working with a Denmark-based vaccines company and interning there for a year and then growing onwards from there. Another option I was considering was consulting companies, because they like the big ones, McKinsey, BCG, because they very closely work with large pharmaceutical companies and who not. And I thought that would be a potential possibility. But then that was a very important question for me, that what jobs do I choose that bring me the closest to the impact and give me the learning about how to build companies that are worth millions and billions. And during studies, I think this is an interesting line of thought, because as life was about figuring out what is my role and how do I create impact and why do I do this, and career was about what choices do I make such that I get to that role in which I can make that contribution. Study was about how does whatever I'm studying now, so engineering, design, and drawing and nanotech, how does all of this random technical skills fit into that bigger purpose? Yeah, what is the use of learning all these things today? Why am I going on and solving paper after paper and reading hundreds of research papers and giving tons of exams and reading books after books of almost everything linked to engineering? And then even in biology, with cells and with tissues and with genetics, there's always a question how much of this is useful to get to my goal. So it bothered me because especially in the first 1 or 2 years of my engineering course, it bothered me a lot, which led me to actually opening up a startup. I would say to some degrees, the motivation of opening my startup was that I did not know how the knowledge that I'm gaining in the university can be practically applied in the real world. And if it's all theory, and how do I get the knowledge that I need to actually make impact?